Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about teaching lateral work from the ground using clicker training. To teach this, you'll need a halter and a lead rope or a bridle, a whip, and horse training treats. For the first step, you're just going to teach your horse how to flex his head and neck to the left and right. Very similar to carrot stretches, only instead of having your horse stretch to reach his side, we just want him to be slightly turning the head and neck off of a very slight cue. If you're using a bridle, take a gentle hold on each rein and turn the horse's head very gently. When he softens to the pressure, click and give him a treat. If you're using a halter, you might have to actually hold the halter itself to be very clear about where the pressure is coming from. Gently put pressure on the side of the halter and ask the horse to turn his head. When he softens, click and reward. Step 2 is teaching the horse to yield the haunches. Stand at your horse's shoulder and have him flexed slightly inward like we practiced in step 1. Then tap him on the rump with the whip and say your cue, step over. Your horse should yield to the pressure and step his haunches away from the whip. When he does, click and reward. We're using the whip as an extension of your arm. If the horse doesn't step away from a gentle tapping with the whip and you need to add more pressure, you can tap lower down the leg. Once he yields his haunches, click and reward. A lot of horses start to move forward when you put pressure on them. Be sure to firmly hold the lead rope to stop them from stepping forward, so that they understand that you are asking for sideways. Think of it like a half halt. Step 3 is teaching your horse to yield the shoulders. Once again, stand at your horse's shoulder and have him flex slightly inward. Gently put pressure on the shoulder. Watch your horse's front feet, and as soon as they take a step sideways, click and reward. When I'm teaching them to yield the front and hind legs independently, I only pay attention to the legs I'm asking to yield. So if I'm asking him to move his front legs and he moves his hind legs, I'll ignore it and just wait for the front legs to step sideways. As I start refining this trick, I will be a little bit more strict that he can hold his hind legs still while I ask for the fronts only. Practice this on both sides and be sure your horse is very comfortable with this step before moving forward. Once your horse is confidently yielding shoulder and haunches in both directions, you can move on to leg yielding from the ground. Honestly, this step requires a little bit of coordination, so be prepared. Once again, stand at your horse's shoulders, having him flex slightly inward. Ask him to take a step, yielding his shoulders, and then another step, yielding his haunches. Then step forward. After he does all 3, click and reward. As you continue using your voice cue, step over, your horse will start to put together that you want him to step sideways. If your horse tends to lead with his haunches, like Cricket does, be prepared to put more pressure on the shoulder. If your horse tends to lead with the shoulder, try to slow the shoulder by half halting on your halter or reins and add a bit more pressure to the haunches. At the beginning, click and reward when you even get 1 sideways step. Keep practicing until you can get a few steps sideways and the horse moves lightly off of your aids. Over time, rather than tapping the shoulder or the haunches, start placing your whip where the leg would sit in the saddle. Once your horse has mastered this on the ground, you're ready to try it under saddle. Once again, ask for a bit of inside flexion, this time from the saddle. Put your leg where you've been practicing from the ground and use your cue, step over. Once your horse takes even a single step sideways, make a big fuss, click and reward. Continue practicing this until your horse can put together several sideways steps in both directions. A couple of tips. For each stage, I recommend doing 5 to 10 repetitions on each side before changing to the other side. It's important to do both sides so that your horse builds muscles evenly, but by letting them practice a couple times in a row before changing sides, it will let them get the hang of the pattern a little better. Secondly, aim for progress, not perfection. When you're first starting out, the horse doesn't need to be crossing perfectly right away. Just ask for some sideways movement and praise and reward generously. As your horse starts to understand your cue better, you can start refining it a bit more and only clicking if his legs cross You can certainly teach leg yielding and other lateral movements using pressure and release, but I found that horses that struggle with that pick it up really quickly when you use clicker training. So give it a try with your horses. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe.